Today we are going to learn how to mix our primary and secondary colors. So last week I have briefly spoken about what colors are. Colors are again light spectrum that gets reflected into our eye. We have three primary colors. I like to call this the mom and dad colors because they get married and they mix a lot of different color babies. The three main babies that they make are called secondary colors, which are orange, green, and purple. So today we are going to learn how to mix a lot of color babies using different portion of colors and with two other paint, white and black, to create different tones or shades of colors. Let's start with yellow. So as you already know, yellow is one of the three primary colors. The other two is blue and red. When you mix blue with yellow, you produce green, and when you mix red with yellow, it produces orange. So what we want to create right now is many tiny little yellow babies that is very close to yellow. You can use green to mix into yellow to produce a yellow that has a tiny bit of green, or you could add a bit of orange to yellow to create a very orangey yellow. To make more yellow babies, you can play around with these three colors: white, black, and gray. We add these to create different shades or different tones of colors. Let's go back to our color wheel drawing. So there are 6 segments in total, enough for our 3 primary colors and 3 secondary colors. So let's start with mixing yellow color babies and fill up one segment. You can start from whichever segment that you like. For those who do not have paint at home, you can try another technique called paper collage. You can go around your house to look for magazines, packaging boxes, or wrapping papers that have color that you can use. So just cut them into small pieces and you can use your glue to stick them on the color wheel chart. Okay, so let's get our painting materials ready. Over here you can see that I have taken out brushes of different sizes. I will use the big brush for the big areas like the background, and for the small brush is mostly for the small areas or details. I am going to take out the 3 primary colors, yellow, red, and blue. Also take out white and black. I'm gonna mix some gray in my palette because this will make it easier when I start mixing the colors up. Okay, my gray is done. Now I'm going to show you how I create different yellow babies. Basically just mix it with either red or blue, but with tiny amount. So first I'm going to show you what happens when you mix red with yellow. Because red is a very strong color, and if you put too much red, it will basically cover up the whole yellow. So that's not what we want, because we want yellow babies, right? This is not yellow, obviously. So I'm going to put a fresh yellow on the other side and basically just use a very tiny bit of red. So here I'm swatching it on the paper to show you how it looks like when you are only using a very tiny bit of red. Next I'm gonna mix with a bit of blue. Again, blue is also a very strong color, so make sure you're using only a very tiny amount. If you have accidentally picked up too much, you can always wash your brush. Okay, I feel like my green is still too strong, so I will just put in more yellow. So that's how you mix yellow with the other 2 primary colors. When you're mixing, just make sure that the amount is very little and you're using a lot of yellow, because like I said, blue and red, they are very strong colors. So after you have mixed these 3 basic hues, you can further add on different amounts of white, gray, or black to create more variations of yellow, which is what I'm showing you here. These are just examples. You don't have to follow the colors that I have here, but the main thing is that all the yellow babies still look like yellow after you have mixed them up with the different colors. You can do a bit of warm up first on a spare piece of paper to try out the different strength of colors when you mix them in, and then when you are confident, you can start painting them into your drawing. So a mistake that I did here was that I painted the object first. So actually it will be much easier if you paint the background first, because whatever mistakes that for example, a bit of the background color get into the object, I don't have to worry about that because I can always cover it up when I start painting the actual object itself. So yeah, start painting the background first. So a strong tip. Once I'm done with the yellow, I will move on to the next segment. For this segment, I'm going to put orange. You can do it on the left or the right, it doesn't really matter. Why I'm using orange was because remember just now we discussed that when yellow mixed with the other two primary colors, it would produce two other babies, green and orange. So I chose to start with orange first. You don't have to follow the sequence of my colors. You can go to green if you want. But I just want to show you that it's basically the same concept. You are going to use the orange to mix it with different portion of red and yellow to create different orange babies. And of course, not to forget black and white. If you are not sure what colors to mix with orange, you can refer to this slide that I have already posted in Schoology. In the slide, I have shown the different colors that you can mix to produce different babies. Okay, let me give you a quick tip about purple. Some of you may not have the purple paint. That's okay, we can mix light blue and pink to create purple. Or another option is to use red and blue, but I don't really like this combination because the purple that is created, it looks very dark and dull. I'm going to quickly show you how the purples turn out when you mix it with light blue, pink, dark blue and red. So this one I am using light blue and pink. You'll see that the purple is lighter. Then I'm going to use dark blue and pink. I quite like this purple the best because it's not too dull, but it's also not too light. The last one I'm showing you is my least favorite way of mixing purple. It's dark red and dark blue. You can tell immediately that the purple is just not happy at all. But either way, any of this color combination is fine as long as you are able to produce purple. It's all acceptable. Another thing that I want you guys to take note of is the consistency of your paint. The paint thickness should be roughly like this. It's not too watery, but it's not too thick as well. If you're painting using really thick and dry paint, it'll be very hard to get into the small corners. So just add like maybe 1 or 2 drops of water just to make it more fluid. However, when you add too much water, it will end up like this. This paint will be too watery, and when you paint it on paper, you can tell immediately that it's very, very patchy. So if your paint quality is like this, you might want to add more paint. The last step after you're done with all 6 colors would be the outlining part. You can outline with a fine liner pen. If you don't have a pen like this, you can just get a black pen or any kind of black markers. Or you could challenge yourself and use brush and paint, which is what I'm going to do. And when you're outlining, just have a bit of patience when you're doing it, because if you are rushing through the work, your outline will become very, very messy. So just have a bit of patience and do it slowly. And when you're done, just take a picture and submit your work.